And it is time for dessert. I hope everybody is still having a wonderful and thankful Thanksgiving. My final thoughts and my personal favorite cards. My favorite cards are the Magician, the Tower, and the Star. Now, unlike the Mystic Dreamer Tarot, which had plenty of good-looking cards that I liked, this one, not so much. It's basically these three. Even in the swords, wands, pentacles, and chalices. These are the only three cards that I like, artistically and symbolically. Does that mean I don't like them? No, by no means. The purpose of this deck, in my opinion, is to say, fuck you and your notion of everything has to be love and light and acceptance. This deck is dark. This deck speaks the truth. This deck will show you the inner and outer of not only the world, but yourself. And that is what I feel that this deck says. And like I said at the very beginning, this deck is on par with Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck. Doesn't matter which version, the OTO or the standard Thoth. Doesn't matter what version. This deck forces you to look deep within. That's why the suits are generalized stuff. And the artwork matches perfectly with some of it. Because it's forcing you to use your own intuition. Look deep within yourself. That is what this deck is. It's going to tell you the ugly truths that sometimes you don't want to hear, you don't want to see, but sometimes you've got to. That's what makes this deck a good deck. This is a tarot that will not hold back. You can look at it and you can get a reading and you'd be like, I don't get it. You may not get it now, but you'll get it eventually, because it'll pop into you. You'll be like, oh, I get it. That's what the deck was telling me. You need time to reflect and look at yourself and your world around you, your own perception. Again, I'm probably just being crazy and not making sense to any of you. But there's a reason why that this deck was my first tarot deck. Because I could have went with the standard Rider-Waite or Gilded Tarot. You know, Mystic Dreamer Tarot is a good starter deck for beginners of tarot, but no, this deck said, "Hey, you, buy me. Let me teach you." And I'm like, "Yes." Now, art-wise and for favorite cards, why these three? Let's start with the Star. I'm not going to lie to you. This is going to get a little paranormal. Take it as you will. Take it or don't. I can't make you, nor can I make myself. But this card, out of the whole entire deck, only appears when it's necessary to me. Now, I know what you're saying. It's right there in front of you. I'm looking at it right now as I'm recording this, as I just got done taking the picture. That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is, this card will not show itself in any reading, shuffling, and believe me, I table shuffle, so my years of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering, get a good even spread. This card will not show itself at all until it is for me to bask in its knowledge. Now, I know what you're going to say. What is its knowledge? Again, I forgot. Well, instead of making you go back and watch the first video, I'll tell you. Because it is Thanksgiving after all. And you're probably too stuffed to do that anyway, so. The demons that come from distant spaces are imprisoned by the energy of the perfect alignment of the stars. The evil stellar progeny has been defeated by the propitious astral conjunction. Meaning, Cthulhu, his children, the ancient ones, were defeated when the stars went out of alignment. One of the themes of the mythos is they will return when the stars are right. Now, this is one of those things that runs parallel to the Simon Necronomicon. My brother Waylon from the Black Tower, my other brother from Magicology, also known as Priest of the Necro, they can tell you that astronomy, or is it astrology? Whatever the one of movement of the stars is a big thing in that path, that practice, that path working. Especially the debate of the North Star, with either the Big Dipper or the Pleiades, which I'm not going to even touch or go into. The Tower. Now, I'm not a fan of the depiction of Cthulhu, but I will say that this is probably the best representation of life hitting you very hard. Most traditional Tower cards is a bolt of lightning, fire, castle crumbling. This one is Cthulhu, basically wrapping himself around the tower in his path. Now, out of the whole mythos, despite my allegiance to Azathoth, Cthulhu is probably my favorite of the alien entities. And then finally, the Magician. That is my soul card. Now, I know what you're thinking, soul card? What the hell? Now, I'm going to make a video on that. To find your soul card, which is your tarot card. Mine just happens to be the Magician. So we are going to do that in the next video, I promise. Look forward to that sometime this weekend. Maybe Friday. So stay tuned for that. But the Magician, Abdul al-Hazred, also known as the Mad Arab, or the Mad Poet, is seen here doing his works. So there's really nothing much else to say outside of that. These are probably my favorite cards. Not probably. What the hell am I talking about? I'm too full of turkey. These are my favorite cards in this deck. My final thoughts. I would say get this deck if you are a fan of H.P. Lovecraft, because there is plenty of artwork on the cards that are dedicated to the stories. There's a lot of Innsmouth, I keep calling it Innsmouth, it's Innsmouth. There's a lot of Innsmouth references. Dunwich Horror, Dagon, the music of Eric Zahn, Hickman's Model, so if you are looking for a deck based on the H.P. Lovecraft stories themselves, this is your deck. Do not get this deck if you are a beginner. I'm going to say that right now. Do not get this deck if you are a beginner. You want to learn tarot? Do not go with this deck. This deck will make you go, for the lack of the better word, insane. Trying to decipher. Do get this deck if you are willing to pick up that challenge. And I do recommend this deck because it is challenging. It will make you think, which is a good thing. So, with that being said, check your local stores that carry tarot. I picked this up for $12, I think. think regular price for most Los Scarabo decks are $20. But I bought this when it was on going out of business sale, so yeah. Thanks for joining me on this review. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you have any thoughts about the tarot deck itself, please feel free to tell me. All my information where you can find me is in the description down below. Yeah. I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.